Hello everyone, welcome back to another video and part 2 of the Honda Legend. If you haven't seen the first part, I will include a link in the description, but for now we're just going to have a quick recap of what happened in the first part. We bought this Honda Legend from BCA Nottingham where we went and collected it ourselves. I then drove it back to London without any problems. In order to pass it through MOT, I had to replace the rear tyres as they were perished. The front brake pads needed replacing before MOT, so I done just that. The headlights were badly oxidized and they were going to flag up on MOT, so I gave them a quick sand down and polish and they came out looking brand new. After a few days, the car had its MOT and passed without any advisories. However, after dailying the car for a week, I noticed a small vibration coming through the gearbox in slow speed. It was definitely noticeable and I didn't want to sell it with a problem. I decided to change the gearbox fluid and treat it to some fresh ATF in the hope that it fixed the problem. Unfortunately, in the process of doing that, this happened. As you saw, the jack slipped under the car as I was trying to rush the job and it cracked the radiator, causing all the coolant to escape. And now you join me right after getting the parts to finally get this car back on the road and ready for sale. Guys, welcome back to part 2 on the Honda Legend. The last time you saw me speaking about this car was when we managed to completely wipe out the radiator with the jack sleeping underneath the vehicle. The reason there is a part 2 because parts on this car are not easy to find, and I was looking everywhere on the internet, eBay, all the platforms that are selling parts for cars in the UK, and nobody had a radiator. Luckily, through a few friends, I managed to find a complete radiator, which you can see over there, that came with the fan and everything. And this was sold to me by a breaker's yard who was breaking a complete Honda Legend, and I think I got really lucky here. Otherwise I would have waited probably a month or two for parts to come from the USA. So without further ado, let's go ahead and remove this broken radiator. We've got two brackets holding the radiator to the chassis of the car. One is here and one is there. We've got this coolant pipe coming to the top of the radiator, and as you can see we have one going down there as well, so I need to get under the car and disconnect this. We also need to remove the coolant tank, and apart from that I think there are some few other pipes down there that I need to disconnect, and then this should slide upwards. So I started by spraying some WD-40 on the bracket bolts as they look like they've never been opened before. They came loose quite easily. I removed the clip holding the upper coolant hose, but it seemed like it was almost glued to the radiator and impossible to remove. So I removed the coolant tank and went under the car to remove the rest of the hoses. The lower hoses came off quite easily and it didn't take much time. Surprisingly, the upper hose also came off without a fight, using a little bit of pressure with a flathead screwdriver. Now it was time to lift the radiator and remove it from the car, but I quickly realized that the battery housing was blocking it from coming up. So I ended up removing the battery and it gave way for the radiator to come up. After a good 2 hours, we've finally managed to take the radiator out. This is the replacement, and this is the one that I took it off the car. This is the bottom of it, so it sits upside down, and our damage is right here. So the jack hit this spot and cracked it in half, and you can see that's where we lost all the coolant. I mean, to be honest, it's not a major damage. We don't have any cracks like that on the replacement part. So they've cut some wires when they removed this part. What I'm gonna do, I'll get rid of all this wiring and also this control module at the bottom. I'm gonna replace it with the one that I already had on the car because I don't want to have any issues after we've installed everything back together. So now I'm gonna do this and that, and then we'll be able to put it back in the car. I started by removing the good wiring loom from the broken radiator and installed it onto the new used radiator. I decided against replacing the fan control module as I wanted to see if it would work first. If not, then I can easily replace it since it was sitting at the top of the radiator. So I've swapped everything. The radiator is ready to go back in here. However, As you remember, we have a bit of damage on this panel. We're trying to push it back as much as we can just to make it flat again for the radiator to sit on it. Obviously it's not going to be perfect, but it's going to be flat enough for the radiator to sit flush on it. So we've done some hammering, and it's, as you can see, it's gone back to its place quite nicely, to be honest. We didn't expect this. It's completely straight now. However, we do have some bent areas, but nothing we can do about this. Now we're going to put everything back together and then put antifreeze in the radiator, and hopefully we don't have any leaks. Reinstalling it was quite easy. Just needed to do everything in reverse and refill it with antifreeze. This is my first time doing a radiator replacement, and again I got lucky that it wasn't that hard of a job. Some cars require the front bumper and most of the front panels are removed to do a replacement. I think Japanese cars are just easy to work on in general. Bleeding the radiator is also very easy. You just need a funnel that can sit tightly over the refill hole, then top up the radiator with antifreeze until you are about halfway full in the funnel, and then start the car. You will see bubbles inside the funnel as the air trying to escape the system and the radiator bleeds itself. This process took about 20 minutes until I didn't see any more bubbles in the funnel. Now the next thing I wanted to fix on this car was this worn out front grille. Apparently it's common for the chrome to come off on these cars, as I tried to find a good used part online, but it seemed like every one of them had the same problem as mine. So I decided to restore mine by removing it from the car and paint it in silver. I only needed to paint the chrome parts, which were easily removable from the front grille. All I had to do was unscrew the trims that I wanted from the back of the grille, and they separated from each other. I then sanded them down to remove all the chrome. I never knew it was that hard to get chrome off a trim part before. I probably spent way too long sanding this part until it was free of chrome. After cleaning them thoroughly, it was finally time for paint. I let the parts dry overnight, and the next day I fitted it back to the car, and I think it looks so much better now. It is definitely not a proper paint job, but at least we don't have to stare at a worn out and a very ugly front grille again. It has been some time since this car was on its four wheels and on the ground. but I've been driving the car for a couple of days now, and it's safe to say that we've resolved the gearbox vibration. Maybe it just needed a transmission fluid change, because now the car drives absolutely fine. It goes through the gears really nice, and I've noticed a smoother gear change as well. Now the elephant in the room is that pop-up hood light that I get on the dash. I've called the main dealer and they said they can't get this car in for diagnostics till end of Jan, early Feb. At the time of this recording, we just got into December. That means I'm gonna have to wait a month or two just to get this car booked in with Honda dealer. I don't think I'm gonna wait for that long. If I'm able to resolve this issue by myself, I'll do that. If not, then I'm gonna list the car with the issue at a discount for a cheaper price than what they go for, and we'll see if somebody comes and buy it as it is. But before we even consider that, I've recently acquired a scanner that can do bi-directional functions and hot functions. And the other day I was just messing about with it and I saw a reset function for this light. I was really tempted to do it, but I thought, let me wait. I want to do it on camera, and if you are able to resolve it, then that's a win-win situation. If not, then obviously we're gonna go for the latter option. So let's go get the scanner, plug it into the car, and see if we can get rid of that light and resolve this issue. Okay, so I have the scanner connected to the car. This is the X-Tool D7. Let's turn on the ignition. That parking sensor is so annoying, but I don't think there's a button for it to switch it off. Anyway, so you can see we still got the light over there. If we go to special functions, okay, never mind, I had to do a scan of the car and then go onto the code, and this way it will give me the actual test or function that I have to do on these codes. So the code is vehicle level position calibration is not completed, and that's for the pop-up hood, which is that light over there. We have two functions that we can choose. Calibration of vehicle level position, warning display, false activation. I don't know what each one of these do, so I'm just going to go through them. So for this one, park the vehicle on a horizontal and start the engine. Make sure all the tires size are correct and correct pressure. Remove all baggage from vehicle. Sit in the driver's seat. Close all doors. Shift to P and apply parking brake. Start calibration by pressing OK. Okay. Let's try this one. Or turns off the pop-up hood warning in multi-information display. So this is what we need. I think that's what I saw last time. I was about to do it off camera, but I thought, no, let's wait and do it on camera because I don't know what that will do. Start the test by pressing the OK button. So basically that will probably get rid of that light right over there. And if that works, it's going to save me so much headache by not waiting 2 months for the dealer to take the car in and maybe do the exact thing that I'm going to do on this device. So let's press OK. Now pop-up hood warning being turned on. Pop-up hood warning off by pressing OK button. Finish. So it's saying it's on now. That's why it's showing over there. And if I press OK, that will go away. Oh, I can't believe it's that easy. All right, let me see if I can... All right, I'll keep the camera there. So we're gonna press OK. No way. Oh, it's come back on. So I pressed OK again. It's come back on. I'm gonna press OK. It's now off. So what now? Okay, so if I cancel now, oh no. It's come back on. All right, it doesn't tell me what to do after that. Let me try again. Okay, let me switch it off. Switch it back on. It usually takes a second or two to come back on the dash. Yeah, so that didn't do anything. I think this is just a test to put that light on and off on the dash. So I don't think that does anything in terms of getting rid of it. Let's try this one. We are a little bit on an incline, so make sure all the tire sizes are correct and the pressure is correct. We don't have any baggages apart from the spare tire. Sit in the driver's seat, close all doors, shift to P and apply the parking brake. Let's apply the parking brake and start calibration by pressing OK. It doesn't tell me whether the car should be on and off, so I'm just going to switch it off and put the ignition on. Alright, so press OK. Please confirm whether yeah, it's on. Check the connection between the equipment. Please update the software. Okay. Whoa. What happened? Calibration is completed already. Turn ignition off. That was so quick. Ignition on. Alright. I don't think that did anything at all in terms of that warning light. I think I expected too much from this scanner, but unfortunately the code is still there, so I'm gonna do a clear code, see what happens, but I doubt that will do anything. Ignition back on. Codes are cleared. Alright, let's start the car now. That parking sensor is so annoying. I'm sorry guys for the constant beeping. It's not popping up. No way. It's not popping up. Alright, let me open the door and do it again. No way! It used to come after a second or two. Oh my god. This is to check for any faults, and I'm pressing it. Literally nothing comes up. Have I actually fixed it somehow? I don't even know what fixed it, whether the clearing or the calibration. I've been so stressed because of that stupid light, and now it's gone. Now I don't have to offer a discount. I can actually ask for full price on this car. Let me just do another scan, just to be sure that this fault is completely gone for some reason. I'm hoping it's not going to come back as soon as I start driving. But since the day I got this car from the auction, I've had this light on the dash the whole time. I've tried to clear it a few times, it didn't work. So the calibration must have done something. Otherwise, clearing the code itself, I don't think it would have done anything. I think that was too easy, to be honest. I'm a bit nervous that it's going to come back any minute because I've been seeing that light non-stop, and the fact that it's not there anymore, it really feels strange. But yeah, I think the scan is halfway done. Oh yeah, it's over here, pop-up hood, and it's passed. Oh my god. Let's go. Yo, thank you very much X2 for sending out this amazing device. There will be a link in my description for anyone who want to get the same device. The light's gone. I'm gonna go for a test drive and see if it's gonna come back. Maybe I need to move the car around for it to activate again, but fingers crossed it's gone. And then once I come back, I'll show you if we've actually resolved the issue. Okay, it's safe to say that we don't have any lights on the dash. I've been driving for a couple of minutes. I was a bit nervous that as soon as the car moves, since it's got a front radar, that the light might come back. But thanks to this device, you absolute beaut, we fixed this problem without going to the dealer. And you guys probably think that I'm overreacting over something so simple as clearing codes, but I don't think it was the clearing of the codes. I think the calibration did it. And off camera, I've tried so many things to get rid of this light. I've even taken off the front bumper and inspected the sensors behind it just to see if we had any sensors that's gone bad. I even used a snap-on scanner from K Autos to see if there was any recalibration or reset test that we could do on this light, but there was none. And I wasn't actually going to try it with this device. I was just out of options when I spoke to the dealer, and they told me that the car won't be booked in until start of February, and that's when the real stress kicked in. The radiator's fixed, the car's not overheating, we don't have any coolant issues or coolant leaks, and I think I got very lucky with the jack sleeping accident. We didn't cause any major damages. I was able to fit in a new radiator, fix the radiator support, and put everything back together. Car drives nice. I don't think there's any further problems with it, and yeah, I think it's time to go and crunch the numbers And again, thanks to this amazing device. Link in my description, and let's go crunch the numbers, see if we make any profit selling this car. I've had this car for a couple of months now, and it's not ideal in this business to sit on cars for that long. But I've learned a lot from working on this car, so I take it as a positive. At the end of part 1, I included this screen, which was the total money invested in this Honda before running into the radiator problem. So now we will add this on here and also add the price for a new used radiator, which was only £65. We also needed to replace all the antifreeze we lost in the last video, so that was about £25. The paint that I had to buy to restore the front grille was £18. So the grand total invested in this Honda Legend comes to just under £3,000. I was going to list the car for £5,000, but since I haven't refurbished the alloys, I will list the car for 4.5, which makes it reasonable for its mileage and condition. So if we get a buyer at this price, it will leave me with a pre-tax profit of £1,506.96. I really hope you enjoyed the making of this video, and if you did, don't forget to like and subscribe. As always guys, if you have a question for me, leave your comments below and I try to answer every comment possible. On that note, I'll see you guys in the next video.